All right, good morning everyone and welcome to your 10 a.m. Pilates class. Oh, I need to turn off my other app so we're not getting the noise. Give me 1 second. Today we're going to be working on external rotation as well as our obliques. So we'll only be using one prop. Give me 1 sec, I'll make sure that these are all nice and quiet. And that one prop is a stretchy band. And it can be any stretchy band that you've got. I am going to use a booty band. So it looks like this. But if you have a pair of socks that you've tied together or a TheraBand that you've tied a loop in, so you can, I've got one of these as well, like a loopy TheraBand that I sometimes use. Anything you can use later on in class. All right. So this is an accessible workout for everyone apart from pregnant women, because we don't want to be contracting rectus abdominals or lifting the head too much if we're pregnant. You can adapt the exercises, but I know that those of you with me today are not currently pregnant, so perfect. We can just get straight into it. Come on down and lie on your mat with your knees bent. And we want to set up our Pilates train track. So the hips, the knees, and the second toes run in two straight lines. Just be really careful that your feet aren't up here too close to your bottom. That'll make it really hard for you to keep your pelvis steady. So you want to step those feet out so that there's about a 90-degree bend at the back of the knee. Really let the pelvis drop, anchor through the floor. We should feel the natural curvature of the spine, allowing the shoulders to release down in the ground, and the chin's just gently drawing in to allow the back of the neck to lengthen. We're going to set neutral pelvis. So to do that, we place both of our thumbs in the belly button and the first two fingers of both hands onto the pubic bone. Now this diamond that we've just painted over our hips works just like a spirit level. So we want to slowly curl the ribs in, or curl over the ribs with the chin tucked in, looking at that diamond over the hips, making sure that the fingers and the thumb are level with each other. So make tiny adjustments until we get that pelvic basin to sit really flat. And then chin tucked in, we lengthen the neck until the head, the shoulders, and the hands can rest down on the ground. This is a studio Pilates Matwork class, and for the duration of the workout, we'll be breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. That inhale through the nose goes to the backs and the sides of your ribs. We never allow the belly to pop out. And the exhale through the mouth, we're really focused on contracting the diaphragm so that we achieve that Pilates shape through the torso. We also talk about the T-zone a lot in studio Pilates, and that's the pelvic floor, which makes up the vertical line of the T, and you activate that by lifting from the perineum all the way up to the space behind your belly button. We want to focus on drawing that inwards and up. The horizontal bar at the top of that T runs across the tops of your hip bones. It's called your transverse abdominal belt, and you want to activate that. You can imagine this section of your belly being sucked inwards and down. And while they won't actually move, you want to focus on the hip bones drawing closer and closer to each other. Cool, so it's that sense of real tightening over the horizontal and a drawing upwards, lifting on the vertical. And we'll do both of those things at once. We'll practice it. Inhale through the nose to begin. And as you exhale, slowly lift the pelvic floor up and dish the hip bones across and down. So we've got that T-zone tight. Hold it there for a breath in. And then slowly releasing as you exhale. This is a gradual and smooth contraction. So we'll try it again. Inhaling to prepare. Exhale to lift and dish. T-zone tight, we breathe in, hold it. And gradually releasing as we exhale. Bring the first two fingers of both hands onto your hip bones. And then slide them in an inch and dig them firmly down. Try and keep your shoulders relaxed as we do this. You're going to feel what happens when you activate your T-zone. So breathe in to prepare. And as you breathe out, lifting the pelvic floor gradually and dishing the hip bones across and down, you should feel resistance against your fingertips. If at any point you don't feel this resistance, there could be one of two things happening. You're not curling in and really poking yourself firmly enough,
or you're not contracting firmly enough. So you might need to squeeze harder to get that resistance against your fingers, or you might need to poke harder. Let's try one more time. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, lift and squeeze, looking for that really strong feedback into the fingertips, holding for a breath in, and slowly releasing as you breathe out. So while our feet are on the floor, we won't be going to that maximum 10 out of 10 contraction. We'll stay at around a 4 out of 10. And the first exercise today is going to be arm prep. So both of your arms will rise with the fingers pointing towards the ceiling and your shoulders soften down into the ground. Our objective is to keep our rib cage contained and knitted down towards the hips. T-zone tightens as we inhale, just a 4 out of 10, and the thumbs reach back without the ribs lifting. Exhale. Inhale the hands back to the start position and exhale as you extend them away, keeping the shoulder blades on the ground. Cool, so keeping that long distance between the ears of the shoulders and practicing connecting movement of the arms with the breath. The exhale extends the arms back until the thumbs touch down, and the inhale lengthens them up towards the ceiling. Now, if you are uninjured and you have no shoulder impingement, this should be quite easy and comfortable to do with the arms long and straight, without any bend at the elbow. Really focusing on keeping these ribs knitting down towards the hips and the pelvis very steady on the mat. Please do 2 more of these. Inhaling the hands up towards the ceiling, turn the palms over, exhale, rest them down on the ground. Our next exercise, because we're working a lot on external rotation today, is bent knee fall out. Now with this one, it's really important that you don't take the leg too far to the side, because when we do that, we lose the transverse abdominal belt. So inhale the T-zone tight, and as you exhale, lift the right big toe and slowly shift the knee to the side, keeping this left leg still and keeping that T-zone strong. Slowly bring it back with your breath in and switch to the left as you breathe out. Inhale to close, pressing the foot back flat on the floor, and exhale to take the right leg out slowly to the side. So we're going from side to side, working really hard on keeping the pelvis very steady on the floor, and just seeing if we can keep the T-zone tight as one leg starts to shift away and the other one stays in parallel, which we can also sometimes call neutral. Parallel and neutral, the same thing. This is external rotation as we move the leg to the side, and then it is parallel. Well, it's also abduction because we're taking it away from the midline. But when we bring it back, it comes to parallel and neutral. We'll do 1 more of these on each side. And then we're coming to our Rectus Abdominals crunches today. So bringing the fingertips to the base of the skull, because we're trying to set good posture in Pilates, we're going to focus on the elbows reaching out to the side with broad collarbones. Your chin is tucked in, the neck is long. Inhale your T-zone tight, and as you exhale, curl up over your ribs to take a look at your knees or your thighs. Inhale as you slowly control the head back down to the ground. Exhale, contract the ribs towards the hips as you lift the head to look at the thighs. Now, as you're doing that, be really careful that your tailbone doesn't move. The pubic bone is staying really still. The pelvis remains in its neutral alignment. So if we're in neutral alignment, we also want to be in neutral spine. Be careful that we don't lose this gap under the back. Keeping that natural functional curve. The elbows are out wide to the side. Exhaling as we rise. Inhaling as we lower. Let's take 2 more of these, and we're going to switch it into our obliques crunches. Cool, so as we inhale, come back down. As you exhale, take your right rib across to the left hip without moving your elbow. Keep your elbow out wide to the side. Inhale it back to the floor, and exhale the left rib to the right hip, keeping the posture open. Good, we're working on keeping the chin tucked in, the back of the neck nice and long, and the pelvis really steady on the mat. Exhaling to one side, inhaling to return down. Exhale it over, inhale it back. We'll just take 2 more like that. I need to finish with my left over to my right, and inhale the head back down onto the ground. Exhaling your arms back out to the sides now. We're going to be bringing our legs up into a tabletop position. So we'll inhale the T-zone tight, lift the right leg and then the left, as you exhale. So the knee is right on top of the hip and the heel is just higher than the knee. Now I feel like my back is a little bit too arched here. If I focus on contracting my ribs towards my hips, that arch gets smaller. And this moves us towards a spinal imprint, which is going to really help you brace your abdominals for these exercises. Relax the shoulders down into the ground, press the hands through the floor, T-zone tight now to about 5 or 6 out of 10 as you inhale, and tap the right tiptoes just down on the ground as you exhale. Everything else stays still and the belly stays in. Lifting with your breath in, switch to the left as you breathe out. So single toe taps. We're trying to keep that 90-degree bend at the back of the knee. There's 2 reasons you change this. One is it's too hard. And if it is too difficult and you feel that your belly is popping out or your back is arching, your tailbone is moving, take the toe closer towards your bottom. Exhale, dropping that toe close to the bottom to make it easier. Or you need more of a challenge, in which case you're going to extend more through the front of the hip until that toe touches the ground. So we're not really changing the shape at the back of the knee, but you can extend further as you exhale. Keeping that belly really flat, working hard here. We're going to take 1 more on each side. We're not resting yet. We're going to come back to those rectus abdominals crunches now that we're in tabletop position. You're more than welcome to squeeze into the ankles and the knees. Bring the fingertips to the base of the skull. Take a breath in to prepare. As you exhale, curl the ribs to the hips and look at your thighs. Inhale it back down and exhale to rise. Now it's really important that we curl the ribs to the hips. We keep the shoulders down and back. And the chin is tucking in. Chin poking is a really common issue in Pilates. It's a real postural problem that's prevalent in modern bodies. So try and focus on the chin dropping and the crown rising. And to do that, we contract the ribs towards the hips. It helps us control our neck. Last one here, exhaling to lift, inhaling to lower down. You can hug your knees in towards your chest. Give them a squeeze. Go for 2 or 3 circles in one direction and 2 or 3 circles in the other direction. We're going to bring those legs straight back up into our tabletop position. T-zone tight, fingertips to the base of the skull. We're going to continue with our obliques crunches. So T-zone tightens as we breathe in. Take the right rib to the left hip as you breathe out. Control it back down as you inhale and take the left rib to the right hip as you exhale. So we're focusing on this X over the belly and the rib is contracting one side of that cross over to the opposite hip. It's not the elbow going towards the thigh, and really feel your thigh bones drop down through the hip sockets like tree trunk sinking into wet mud. And that's going to help you keep your bottom still on the ground. Take 2 more here. And again, this is the first exercise in this set, so we're not taking a rest yet. Inhale the head back down onto the ground. Take the hands down, exhale, press them down. T-zone tight, we breathe in, bicycle leg, extending the right leg just to 45 degrees as you breathe out. Bring it back to your start position, inhale, and take the left leg out as you exhale. Back on the breath in, out on the breath out. So we start with 45 degrees. And the reason we do that is so that we know we can keep the belly strong. Cool, we're not trying to do this with any bounce. We're moving slow and controlled. And to make it harder, you can start extending that leg a little lower. To make it easier, you can point the toe up more towards the ceiling. But we do want to get a challenge here. This is slow, controlled movement, but it's still a workout, right? So you've got to choose the level that you're still in control. You can perform the exercise with perfect technique, but you're challenged. Keeping those shoulders down and back, chin tucked in, and the belly nice and flat. This is going to be your last one here. This time you can take the knees wide to the sides and go for a little sideways rock. All right, it's time to come to our Pilates 100s preparation. We'll have the legs in tabletop position here. Our objective for this entire exercise is simply to exhale, extending the legs without moving the thighs, and inhale, bringing them back to tabletop without dropping the heels. So we want to come back to this really strong 90-degree tabletop every time, looking for 180 as we exhale. We might not get there. It's pretty early in the morning. Bringing it back to 90 as we inhale. The arms have a job as well, so we'll practice this together. They're going to be up here. I'll demonstrate for you first and then invite you to join in. We'll start here. As we exhale, we're going to scoop the arms around towards the hips, curl up, and inhale as we slice the arms back, head to the mat. So we exhale, scoop the arms around, curl the ribs to the hips, and inhale to come back down, hands point to the ceiling. Let's get the arms going first, and then I'll add in the legs. Tees are in tight, we breathe in. Scoop the hands around as you curl up, breathing out. Slice them back to the start position. Inhale, scoop and curl as we exhale. Let's add the legs on the next round. So as we exhale, scooping and curling, take the toes up to the ceiling. And as we inhale, coming down, take the legs to tabletop. Extending as we sit up on the exhale, and bending carefully as we control down and inhale. Keep going with the exercise. I'm going to check on your form, which is often made easier if you have your cameras on. Doing really nicely, Sharon. That's looking great. Just 2 more here. Thanks, Ash. Last one. Beautiful. Hug the knees, give them a squeeze. You can take a break here. Good. Nice. After our Pilates 100s prep comes our Pilates 100s, and you have 3 levels to choose from with the legs. Pilates 100s level 1 legs, just stay in tabletop. Pilates 100s level 2 legs, we can come up to here. This is level 2 with our toes pointed directly to the ceiling. The hardest level, level 3, you need to first flex your feet, then externally rotate before you energize the heels and take the legs down. We can't do that at the expense of the belly popping up though. So choose a level where you can hold your shape while we inhale for 5 pulses of the arms and exhale for 5 pulses of the arms. Now, sometimes your neck will strain during this exercise. It's perfectly acceptable to support the head with one hand and keep pulsing with the other arm. And you can switch whenever you feel like it. You can even support the head with both hands. But if really it's just too much, hold the shape. Pulse with the arms, keep the head on the floor. But I do ask for the 100s that the feet never come to the ground. Let's start together in tabletop position. Hands on the outer edges of the thighs. Inhale, the T's are in tight, and exhale, curl up, reach long to the fingertips. Find that rib to hip connection. Breathe in, roll the shoulders back and down, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're using the rib to hip connection to keep that chin tucked in, crown of the head pointing up to the ceiling. If you want to make it harder, go ahead and move to level 2. Continue breathing in for 5 pulses of the arms and out for 5 pulses of the arms. Being really careful that the only thing moving is your arms. Flex the feet, turn the toes out, really connecting into the knees and the ankles. If you want to try taking it lower, keeping the belly in, using that rib to hip connection, go for it. You can always reverse back to level 2 or even level 1. As you keep breathing, keep squeezing, keep pulsing. Keep going, guys. You're doing amazing. I'm just going to check on you. As you inhale for 5, exhale for 5, looking really nice. Good, Sharon, you can curl up a little bit higher. We're here for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, ribs to hips, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You're done. Take a rest. Hug those knees into your chest. Go for 3 circles in one direction and 3 circles in the other direction. All right. So 2 more exercises to go for our ab workout this morning, then we're going to get into our glutes. The 2 exercises are going to be one where we use our external rotators called Froggy. So we're going to take our hands to the base of the skull. We'll be taking the knees open. So I'm going to inhale, my T's are in tight, and my hands are going to come out and reach through. And inhale back down. Okay, so we've got 3 pulses of the arms. Once we sit up, we'll keep the toes together, but the knees will come apart. So we start in tabletop, fingertips to the base of the skull. Inhale, the T's are in tight. Exhale, curl up and turn out. Reach through, take a breath in, and pulse 2, 3. Inhale it down. Exhale, curl up, take a breath in, prepare. Inhale it down. Now we're trying to keep the knees still in line with the hips. Keep it going. Try not to lift the shoulders. Try and keep reaching long through the fingertips. keeping the bottom still and the belly flat. You've got 2 more rounds. Exhale up, inhale, prepare, pulse, 2, 3, and lower. Keep going. I'm going to come and check on you. You have 3 more rounds of this exercise. 1, 2, 3. Inhale it down. Looking really good. 2 more. Inhale, prepare. Reach, 2. Really wonderful stability through the pelvis, guys. Doing a great job of keeping that bottom still on the ground. Last round here. 1, 2, 3, and relax. Take those knees wide to the side. Go for a little sideways rock. And our grand finale today is an exercise called the crisscross. It takes our bicycle legs and connects it to our obliques crunch. So we're going to be taking the rib to the hip and extending the opposite leg. So if my left rib is moving towards my right hip, it's my left leg that extends. Common catch outs on this exercise are that people will sometimes get their elbows dancing. So we don't want any dancing elbows. We're just taking the rib to the opposite hip, but also that the bottom starts to rock around on the floor a lot and that the knee moves towards the chest as the other leg moves away. Try to keep them right here in tabletop position today. All right. Hands at the base of the skull, T-zone tight, we inhale. Let's take the right rib to the left hip, extending the right leg as we exhale. Bring the head back to the ground, tabletop position, breathe in, and then switch it over as you breathe out. Inhale it down, exhale, switch. Inhale it down, exhale, switch. Inhale it down. Keep going. We're going to do one more like this. Then we're going to keep the head lifted in the center. Rotating on the exhale, coming to neutral on the inhale. Really twist that rib to the opposite hip as you extend the leg, and be really mindful as you're extending the leg that you're not dropping the hip down. Keep it going, curling over as you exhale, coming to the middle as you inhale. Really nice. Just 4 more to go. Careful, Ash, keep those knees on top of your hips. Don't let them move back towards your tummy. Last 2. Last 1, job done. Reach the arms and the legs out long and straight. Have a nice big hello Tuesday. Happy stretch and yawn. That is abs over for now. We're going to come onto one side. And I'm going to now start using my band. So if you've got your band or your pair of long socks that's tied together or whatever, pop that over your thighs now. We're going to take it up onto the thighs just above the knees. Cool. And we're setting up for clam 1 today. So ensure that your heels are in line with your hips. So you can even use the back edge of your mat. So the hips line up with the heels. And we're going to slide this arm, so this hand is in line with your hip, and slide it down onto the ground. This arm becomes your pillow. Your top hand will rest in front of your ribs here. Now you can see the way I'm lying, my top hip has rolled back. This is not what we want for our glute exercises. We need this top hip to come forward so that the knees are really nicely stacked. And it's also really important that the side of our waist lifts up off the floor for the duration of the exercises. So clam 1, the side waist is lifted, rib to hip connection, shoulders back and down, feet stay together. T-zone tight, we inhale. We're going to squeeze that top knee open without moving the hip as we exhale. Close it back down again, breathe in. Squeeze it open again, breathe out. Nice. Inhale to close. Exhale to open. So we're keeping that top hip stacked. Don't let it roll back. Keep that hip bone pointing gently forward and down. Exhale to open. Inhale to close. Working with the band is really strong. Feel a gentle outwards push of your tailbone here. So rather than allowing the tailbone to tuck under, make sure you're lengthening the tailbone back and away. Exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. Side waist is still lifted. T-zone is still strong. Inhale to close. We're coming up to clam 2 now. So lifting the heels up until they're about in line with the hips, ensuring that the side waist is still lifted off the ground. T-zone tight to 5 out of 10 as we inhale, opening that top knee again as we exhale. Close on the breath in, open on the breath out. Inhale to close, exhale to open. Inhale and close, Exhale to open. 2 more, and we're going to move into the clam kick out. Last one. Great. We're going to switch the breathing now here. We're going to inhale to open, and we're going to exhale to extend the top leg back, really pushing it back. Inhale, the toes come together, and exhale, the knee comes down. Inhale, open. Exhale, extend the leg. Toes touch, breath in. Knee down, breath out. Inhale, open. Keep the rib to hip connection here. Exhale, extend. Inhale, return. Exhale, replace. Inhale, open. Exhale, extend. Inhale, return. Exhale, replace. We're going to inhale, open. Exhale, extend. Hold the leg there. I'm going to start tracing some teeny tiny circles in one direction, not allowing anything else to move. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Reverse those teeny tiny circles. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sideways lifted, shoulders back and down. 10. Great work. Bringing the knees together now, we're going to bring them forward for clam 3. So we've made our tabletop position on the ground. The hip and knee are in the same line. Don't leave your knees back here. Bring them up until there's 90 degrees at the hip and make sure there's 90 degrees back at the knee. So the feet aren't out here. You bring them forward. Flex the feet so you can see your toes. Again, this hand is underneath your ear, the other hand is in front of your ribs, shoulders roll back and down, and the sideways lifts up away from the ground. T's are on tight, we inhale, open the knees into the band as we exhale, close it down as we breathe in, and open it as we breathe out. Now that we've primed your glute med and your glute min, you'll feel that that's where this exercise starts, clam 3, and wraps back to the center of your butt. All the way close to the tailbone. Exhaling to open, inhaling to close. Careful that that top hip is staying stacked. It's not rolling back. You can always check on the alignment of that top hip using your top hand. You can just check that the back of your pelvis is staying nice and still. 2, 1. Now for our clam kick out in clam 3, we need to lift the knee and the heel at the same height at all times. T's are in tight, we breathe in, sticking that tailbone out. Exhale, we lift the knee and the heel together. Inhale, they close together. Exhale, they lift together. Good. Inhale it down. Exhale, we rise. Inhale, we lower. If you're using a band, that foot will want to lift higher than the knee. Resist that urge. Chin is still tucked in. Back of the neck is nice and long. There is, in fact, a straight line from the crown of your head to the tip of your tailbone. Exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. 2 more. 2. And 1. Nice. So we're going to lift the leg up. Extend the foot forward and turn the toe towards the floor. I'm just going to see if I can shuffle into it. Nope, there's nowhere for me to go. So if there is any way that you can bring this leg further forward, so past this bottom knee, please do. If it's not further forward, do what you can. Wherever you are is great. Turn the toe down towards the floor and the heel up towards the ceiling, but then poke that hip back where it started. Don't let it roll forward, keep it back. T-zone tight, we inhale, the heel rises as we exhale. Control the toe back down as we breathe in, lift the heel up as we breathe out. Sideways to still lifted. Exhale to lift, inhale to lower. There's 5 more of these. 5, good, nice work. Keep that internal rotation. 4, toe pointing to the floor, heel to the ceiling. 3, it's a strong one. 2, and last one, 1. Job done. Tap out your top hip. It's done a lot for you. And we're going to switch it over to the other side. Cool. So you can see your screen, just bring your head to the other end of the mat rather than rolling over. All right, so that bottom arm is under your ear. We have the feet back in line with the tailbone. Top hip is forward, T-zone tight, and the side of the waist sweeping up away from the mat. It all began with clam 1. So T-zone tightens as we inhale. We open the top knee, keeping the hip still as we exhale. Close as you breathe in. Open as we breathe out. So friends, I have some great news for you. You are halfway through your side lying glute series. The bad news I have for you is that this butt cheek has already been very hard at work stabilizing for you as we train the first side. So it will complain a lot through this sequence, but we know where we're going and we'll get through it a little bit quicker. Inhale the knees together. We're going to lift those feet up into clam 2, scooping the side of the waist up, shoulders down and back. T's are tight, breathing in, lifting that top knee as we breathe out. Close together, inhale, open as we exhale. Good. You guys are doing amazing. Really nice job. Keeping that hip stacked, keeping the shoulders stacked, long straight line through the spine. Just be really careful as you get tired that your tailbone doesn't tuck under. Keep lengthening it back. It's like there's an opposition between the knees and the tailbone. Last 2 here. Last 1. Switching the breathing for clam kick out. We inhale, open. Exhale, extend the leg back. Bring the toes together, breathing in, and the knee down, breathing out. Inhale, open. Exhale, extend. Inhale, return. Exhale, replace. Inhale, open. Exhale, lengthen. Inhale, feet. Exhale, knees. Inhale, open. Squeeze it back. Feet together. Knees together. Now we're going to inhale, open, exhale, extend, hold it there. Tiny circles. Try and keep that knee nice and straight. Don't let it bend. 6, 7. Keep the body really still, the posture really open. And take it the other way. Just tracing that tiny little circle in the air. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great, that's our clam 1 and 2 series done. Time to bring it forward and position for clam 3. So the tailbone pulls back as the knees lift in line with the hips. The feet flex as the heels line up with the knees. Side waist is still lifted. We're in this beautiful letter L, or we are a chair on the floor. T's are tight. We inhale, open that top knee as we exhale. Be really careful of that hip staying still. Exhale to open, inhale to close. So clam 3, getting that full wrap from the little glute muscles all the way back through glute max. Good. Creating good patterning for our glutes. 6, 7, 4 to go. Really pushing up if you're wearing that band, pressing into it. Last 1, clam 3, kick out. So we've got to make sure the knee and the heel rise as one unit. T's are tight. We inhale, lifting that knee and foot together as we exhale, controlling it back down as we breathe in. Exhale to lift, inhale, control, lower. Nice. Looking good, guys. Exhale to lift, inhale, lowering down. We don't do so many of these ones because the glute is starting to get very tired and we still have that side lying leg raise to deal with at the end, which we're getting to right now. Hold the leg here, extend it forward. Now, if you can take it any further than that, please do. I'm going to shuffle down so I don't kick my stage pole. So the toe is pointing to the floor. The top hip is pulling back, T-zone tightens, we breathe in, heel rising as we breathe out. Lower it down, inhale, side waist is still lifting, rising as we exhale. Inhale to lower, exhale to lift. Obviously we can't do it, we can't physically do a million of these. The hip is like, we are just about done. We have 5 to go, guys. Try not to push too much through that hand, still keep the posture open, the tailbone lengthening away, just 3 more. Exhale to lift, 2, exhale to lift, 1, tap that hip out, we are done. Nice. All right, postural work. We'll take the band off, we don't need it for this. Last week we worked on freestyle, this week we'll be working on breaststroke. So we're going to start with our arms in our cactus position, lying on the ground with our forehead down and our pubic bone tucked under. If for some reason this is uncomfortable for you, you can roll up a towel and place it under your forehead or your pubic bone. Cool. So the position that we're looking for on the ground, tailbone is tucked under, so the pubic bone is pressing down, belly button is lifted, chin is tucked in with the forehead on the ground. All right, so my arms are going to be in this cactus position. Cool. And my shoulders are nice and soft. Forearm is parallel, so the middle finger is in line with the elbow. And for these first rounds of exercises, the elbow must stay on the ground. Really important. Tailbone curling under, belly button lifting, T-zone tie, we inhale. As we exhale, squeeze the shoulders down and back into a V shape, keeping the hands and elbows really still. Inhale, relax. Exhale, squeeze down and back. Inhale, relax. Exhale, squeeze down and back. You really want to feel your shoulder blades sliding in and across your back towards your spine, like you're trying to knit your muscles in to hold onto a pen or a pencil in the middle of your back. Do one more. We're going to add on. We're going to lift the back of the head. So the part that I'm touching now will lift towards the ceiling. The gaze will stay down at the ground. T-zone tie, we inhale, shoulders down and back, exhale. Lift the head as we breathe in and lower down, releasing the shoulders as we breathe out. So we're now going to rise on an inhale and lower down as we exhale. Now it's really important that we don't load into the low back here. So keep that tailbone wrapping down, pressing the pubic bone towards the ground. You want to keep your glutes on and your feet pressing strong through the floor. Exhale on the way down. Inhale on the way up. Last two. Shoulders really drawing back, heart lifting, chin drawing in, gaze staying down. Hold on this last one. Tuck the tailbone under, lift the belly button into the back body, keep the shoulders down and back, and lift the hands. So from here, we're going to inhale, lift higher, and exhale, keep the hands and the elbows level as we slowly come back to the floor. Everything up, we breathe in. Everything down, we breathe out. Up on the inhale. Down on the exhale. Two more times. Squeezing those shoulders back. Holding on this last one. Exhale the shoulders back and down. Now we're going to inhale the hands in and the elbows out. They still stay the same level. Exhale the hands out and the elbows back. Inhale the hands forward and in. Exhale, we circle them out and back. So we're just warming up our circular motion, keeping the hand and the elbow level, keeping the back of the neck long, the chin drawing in, the crown of the head lengthening the neck. So we're creating space. We're never wrinkling the back of the neck or taking space away. Keep curling the pubic bone and the toes down. You've got two more before our rest break. Last two. Last one. Bring the hands down. Rest the forehead on the hands. And just press your elbows into the ground until your ribs curl up. And that should relieve any tension you're feeling in your thoracic spine, in the ribs and the back. We're going to work on the breaststroke legs, guys. So I'm going to move a little forward. We'll need to turn our toes out and our heels in. And if you don't have particularly externally rotated hips like me, that's quite challenging. So you need to really scoop your tailbone under, extend through the heels and feel your toes turn to the sides. T-zone tie, we inhale. We're going to beat the heels together 5 times as we exhale. And 5 times together as we inhale. So we're really energizing those legs. They're long and straight, and we want to be feeling this in the under butt. So the deep central butt, inhaling for 5 pulses, exhaling for 5 pulses, pushing down through the elbows. Keep going. Inhaling for 5, exhaling for 5. 2 more times. Inhaling for 5 and exhaling for 5. Relax the feet down. So that's our breaststroke legs. Nothing too fancy there. Breaststroke arms, however,
They're quite fancy. So when we're going to put that together, it's really important that the hips turn towards the ribs. Just leave your toes on the ground, your heels turned in as we set up for our breaststroke arms. Forward on the ground, T-zone tight, we inhale, shoulders back and down, we exhale. Inhale to rise, turn your thumbs over and extend the arms. So we've got the thumbs up, these blades are forward. We're now going to go palms out, thumbs down. Exhale, swim them back, chest up, hands by the sides, and then flip your fins over. Inhale, extend, turn the hands over, exhale, pull it back, flip. Inhale, extend, exhale. Two more. Really squeezing those shoulders back as you swim the arms back, and pause here for me. All right, so we're just about ready to go. Tailbone turning under, T-zone tight, we inhale, lift the heels, exhale. Chest comes up, breathe in, pulsing as we breathe out. Inhale the arms forward, turn them under, rise. Keep swimming, keep beating. I'm going to come and check on you. Tucking that tailbone under, lifting the belly button into the back. As you exhale the arms back, squeezing the shoulders back. Yes, long neck, chin tucked in a bit more, Ash. Yes, gazing down, back of the head rising towards the ceiling. You got 3 more swims, 3 more sets of breaststroke arms. Last 2. Looking great, Sharon. Last 2. And the last one. Beautiful work. Push it straight back into child's pose, guys. Take it straight back into a child's pose. So sitting your feet, your heels on your feet. And if it's comfortable for you, you can either rest your head on your hands, but if your head can reach the ground, bring your hands by the feet with the palms face up so that you can counter stretch your shoulders. Allow them to really relax. And letting that last breath go, rolling up through the spine. So last week we had our kneeling horse kick series in parallel. This week we're working on external rotation and adduction. So we're going to come into our 4-point kneeling. But today we'll be working on external rotation. Just grabbing my other arm. I'll have to turn around when I want to do the other side, guys, because I don't have enough room, but you'll be fine to keep going once we get started. So a couple of important setup points for our 4-point kneeling work. We want those wrists directly underneath the shoulders. Careful that we're not too far forward. That's too much load, but we don't want to have the hands forward out here either. Press down through your index knuckle and then wrap the upper arms into the ribs so that the creases, the long lines of the elbows, point ahead of you. Lift the heart up through the shoulders so we're nice and flat through the upper back. Sweep the belly into the low back so we're long and straight through the spine. T-zone tight, we inhale. We're going to lift the right leg out to the side as we exhale. Slowly lower it back as we breathe in, lifting it up again as we breathe out. Cool. So we want the knee to travel in line with the other knee and the hip the whole time we're working. Keep those upper arms wrapped in. Careful that your head doesn't drop. We're not sad. Keep the neck long, the chin drawing in, looking forward. Inhale to lower, exhale to lift. You can do this with a flex foot or a pointed toe, whatever feels right. Just be really careful that your pelvis stays level. We're not lifting a hip. We're just lifting a leg. Last 3. Last 2. Last 1. Good. Bring that one down. I'm going to switch it around. I might be able to do the other side just if I move to here. So reset the shoulders, reset the hands, T-zone tight, long spine, breathe in. Left leg lifts to the side, breathing out. Lower on the inhale, lift on the exhale. Now this isn't a competition or a championship about how high you can lift your leg. It's about how much you can squeeze your butt and keep your body in one aligned position. So really focus on moving with control and good technique, even though we're tired. You're here for 5, 4, 3,
3, belly lifting, spine long, stay strong. Just 2 to go. Using that exhale. And the glute work is finito. Great job. Just give your wrists a few circles. So we're going to do 2 side planks now. We're going to do 30 seconds on each side. If you have sore wrists, you're more than welcome to do these on your elbows. Otherwise, you can do them on your hand. I'm going to be using my hand or my phone a friend hand for the other side. I'll do this side first. Now, if this is too much, so the setup cues for a side plank, I'm just going to get my timer ready. I'll demo first and then we'll work on it. Great. Hand in line with hip, shoulder over wrist, shoulders back and down. We'll extend the legs out. Now, if you want to line up your knees with your hips, squeeze your bottom, other arm can come up to the ceiling. This is the easiest version of your side plank. If you want to make it harder, you extend that bottom leg as well. You can stack the heels one over the other. Just be careful you don't slide back behind the wrist, that we're staying up. We're going to start that timer. You guys are in position. We got 30 seconds here. Hand over hand, beautiful, shoulder over shoulder. Keep the tailbone squeezing in, the rib to hip connection, chin drawing back. So there's a long straight line from the heels all the way through to the crown of the head. You're over halfway now. Keep breathing, keep squeezing those butts. Lift those hips a little bit higher. You've only got 6 seconds, but now it's 3 seconds. 2 and 1. That's 30 seconds and 1 side done. Good work. Let's set it up on the other side. Resetting. So your hand will be in line with your hip, under your shoulder, not in front of it. You can start with your knee down, and I'll start the timer now. Come on up, guys. I'm going to start that timer. Great. And then if you want to make it harder, stacking foot over foot, tailbone tucked, pubic bone rising, ribs descending. Shoulders are down and back, chin tucked in. The neck needs to follow the line of the spine, so really focus on that. You're doing a beautiful job and you're halfway there. Keep squeezing that bottom, lifting the hips, keeping that rib to hip connection just for another 7 seconds. Energizing that top hand to keep you rising for 3, 2, 1, and done. Come on down. That is it for those. And the very last thing we'll be working on today is our forearm plank. And that one will be a minimum of 45 seconds, but if you can hold it for a minute, I'll keep the timer going. And then we get to stretch. This is the last thing on our agenda for today in terms of core work. Really feel strong. We have to be careful that that butt doesn't pop up and that the chest doesn't sag down. We want to keep the elbows right on top of the shoulders here and squeeze your ankles and your knees together. Use that energy to keep away from gravity. You ready, guys? Good. Forearm planking timer has started. We're going to do a minimum of 45 seconds. So tailbone is tucked, spine is long, chin is tucked in. Really energize those heels. If you push your heels away more, you'll feel that your bottom works harder and it steadies your position. So my hands are right in line with my elbows. My chin is in, my bottom is down. None of this. Keep long through the front of the hip. You've already done 26 seconds. You're doing amazing. We've just hit 30. Keep breathing. Keep pushing away through the heels. Good. Keep pulling that pubic bone up towards the ribs. Ribs are in, pushing the ground away. You've hit the 40-second mark. There's only 5 to go. There it is. So if you want to stop now, you can. If you want to go for the challenge, the final 10 seconds to 1 minute, we're hanging in there. Stick with it, team. Really energize those heels long through the back of the neck, chin tucked in. 3, 2, 1. 1 minute done. Whew. What a buzz. So much plank work. Excellent job, guys. All right, let's have a little stretch. So we've worked a lot of glutes today. We'll take a 90-90 stretch before we roll over onto the back. So I'll show you this side. I've got 90 degrees at the knee, and the knee is in line with my hip. My heel is in line with my knee. And be careful with that back leg. Some people let it sneak all the way behind them. Bring it out to the side so it's in line with your hip and the heel is in line with the knee. I like to hold this foot. You can take your hands wide if you prefer. Keep this hip rolling forward and this hip drawing back. Chest is open as we breathe in, folding in nice and square as we breathe out. And if I was feeling really mean, I'd make us do some mobility drills while we're here, but I'm not. We're stretching. I'm your friend now. Slowly coming up. The foot that's in front of you, bring it closer towards your groin. The other foot that's behind you, cross it over the knee and then sink this hip down onto the ground. We're going to take a stretch here, so a twist. This is my top leg. I'm going to rotate over that top leg, so I'm facing the whole line of the thigh. The same hand as that top leg comes down onto the ground, and the other one can draw that whole hip in towards you. Feel the collarbones glide apart as you get taller, breathing in, and use the exhale to rotate and twist a little bit further. Do that one more time. Good, coming back to the center, we'll bring this leg forward into our 90-90 stretch, and the other leg back in line with the hip, heel in line with the knee. Finding where our hips can actually sit into that space. If you want to hold your foot or next to your foot, other hand wide to the side, shoulders back, chest rising, breathe in, and folding in over that hip, breathing out. Just finding the sweet spot in the stretch here. You might have to look for it a little. It's worth it. And then slowly coming up, move this heel towards you. Take the other foot over the knee. Nice and tall through the spine, taking that arm back and then using this one to get a long stretch through the thigh. We get tall as we breathe in and we rotate as we breathe out. Coming back towards the center. You can go ahead and lie down on your back. Crossing your right foot over your left knee, turn it out wide to the side. Keep your head and shoulders relaxed on the floor, and then take either the back of the left knee or the front of the left knee. Thinking about that right knee going as wide as it can. If you want to make this a little bit more intense, your hips can move slightly to the left. Your knees can move slightly to the left. And then taking that left foot to the floor, bring the right knee into the chest. Make sure your hips are even here, so both sides of the waist are the same length. And hold on to the back of the thigh as you slowly take your flex foot upwards. We want to try and find a shimmy shake here. And just pulse into that shimmy shake 5 times. Then you can point your toe and extend your leg fully. Keep that thigh pulling down through the hip to the ground, taking the hands wherever they'll hold. And if this hamstring stretch is too easy or too sweet, you can extend the other leg forward as well. Just be careful that your hips don't do that. We want to keep them nice and square. And we're going to bend the right knee, push the foot onto the floor, sweep the left foot up, cross it over, and turn it out to the side. The right knee will pull the left foot towards you. Keep that left knee really open, and then you can gently rock it over to the right. Finding that sweet spot in the stretch. Still focused on keeping those shoulders relaxed. And then placing the right foot on the floor, drawing the left knee in towards the chest, keeping the hips square, hands on the back, flexing the foot, slowly taking that heel up to the ceiling, looking for that shimmy shake. So you've got to keep your thigh really close to your torso to find it. It's a nerve stretch for your hamstrings. I'm just going to pulse into that. And then extend the leg fully, point the toe take hold and enjoy the hammy stretch. Going deeper if you need. We're going to use this leg to bring us up to sit. So reach the arms behind your back, take a breath in, and use the leg to bring yourself up to sit as you breathe out. Crossing your legs, interlace the fingers behind your back, extend the arms back, opening the chest. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, fold over the hips towards the ground. Keep lifting through those arms, really squeezing the shoulders together and keeping distance between the ears and the shoulders. Looking for the chest and shoulder stretch here. Use the arms to sit back up. Bring your arms all the way up now. Interlace your fingers, push them up towards the ceiling, breathe in, and then really sink the tailbone down as you breathe out. Lifting the ribs off the hips, inhale long, and then exhale over to one side. Good, get longer as you breathe in. Tip a little further as you breathe out. Come all the way back up. And all the way over the other way. Longer through the side, breathe in. And down, breathe out. All the way up now, breathe in, look at your hands, try and reach them back behind your ears. Good, lifting the chest towards the ceiling, breathe in, lift the shoulders, slide them back as you breathe out. Good, take the hands up as you inhale, release them down, exhale. We get to do the best bit now, which is our Pilates roll up. I'm gonna come onto the hands and the knees. With your toes tucked underneath you, walk the wrists back towards the knees, and then feel the heels reaching for the floor. Just be careful that you're still in neutral parallel alignment here. Tuck the chin in, drop the heels down, and we'll feel the tailbone start to rise, but scoop it back under. Head and arms hang super duper heavy here, and we suck the belly into the back. One vertebrae at a time, we're going to roll up and stack the spine. We extend the legs slowly, tip the tailbone down to face the feet, and one vertebrae at a time, rolling up, stacking the spine. At the top, lift the shoulders, squeeze them back, slide them down, and the chin tucks in as you extend to the crown. Thank you so much for your hard work today, guys. I hope you enjoyed your Pilates class. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you again next time. If you've got any questions, hit me up.